2 of our journey, chapter 2 of Proverbs, we have a very interesting read. We're going to go right into it. In verse 2 it says, "So that thine ear also inclineth unto wisdom, and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. For God giveth wisdom, and out of his mouth cometh understanding." You know, we really look at this fear of the Lord thing as some unnecessary obstacle that's in the way of us walking the path to righteousness. But if we're really seeking wisdom, if we're really seeking an understanding, once we obtain any kind of wisdom or understanding, the first thing we're going to be educated to is the fact that we need to fear the Lord. And that fear of the Lord is not, trembling and shaking, walking on eggshells. It's more of a reverent fear. And reverence just means an acknowledgement, a deep sentiment of honor and respect. And we don't need to feel as if, God's up there, we're down here, so we just do what we do and God sees us and that's it. No, we fear God and we adhere our actions to that fear. Therefore, through the fear of the Lord, we understand what is permissible, what we can do, what we can't do, what we should do, what we shouldn't do. And verse 8 says, "He keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way of his saints." So going back again, we begin to fear the Lord. We understand wisdom. We understand knowledge. We have the instruction that God tells us right here in his word is clear. And that through that, our path is directed, and we go around doing what honors God by nature, because he's directing our path through that fear that comes from the understanding, and that gives us wisdom. So it says, "When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and understanding is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee." So when wisdom is embraced within us, and we understand the fear of the Lord, so our actions and our deeds, our thoughts, are motivated through this fear that comes from this understanding, then we'll be discreet about things. We'll have a certain level of discretion that keeps us from putting ourselves in a position to be in harm's way. It also will give us the understanding that will keep us out of harm's way. So our actions, again, are being molded and modified, and we are now strategically moving through this existence in this world that we have in a different way. We don't do things that are foolish. We don't go on these, crash dummy missions and just wind up falling off or getting into some trouble that, could have naturally been avoided if we'd have just, done something different. But our path now that we're seeking wisdom and we're walking as wisdom walks, we are now doing things that honor God based on this perspective of God that we have, that is motivated through an understanding, and the understanding teaches us that we should fear God. We should fear God above all things. Let's see. It says that, when understanding is directing our path and wisdom is keeping us from harm's way, it's going to do a couple things here. It's going to deliver us from evil men, from men that speak forward, boastful men, braggers, guys that's always talking about what they got and what they're going to do and woo-woo, whatever. We're going to be able to avoid those guys. We're not going to be in company with those guys who leave the path of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. That's what these guys are doing. They rejoice to do evil and delight in forwardness and speaking wicked, who their ways are crooked and they are forward in their path. They don't want to do the right thing and they bite that life, and that's one of the things we really got to be careful for is about that life, because really you understand what that means. I'm down to get it. That's really what that means, and I'm gonna do it by any means necessary. I'm thugging for real, so I'm about that life. You know what I'm saying? But the word says that he who finds his life shall lose it, and he who loses his life shall find it. So through that interpretation, we understand that the fear of the Lord will lead and guide us. So, I'm about that life, Jesus Christ's life. And I'm not about the life that I live according to the wickedness and the foolishness that you see a lot going on out there. So it will also deliver us from the strange woman that flatters us with her lips. And when the Bible talks about here in Proverbs, a strange woman, it doesn't mean like some woman you don't know and may want to know. She might be a pretty decent chick. She just, they don't mean a strange woman, a woman you don't know. It means a woman that doesn't know God, a woman that doesn't understand who God is, a woman that doesn't fear God, a woman who has in her mindset, she's going to be about that life or whatever. And, she's not really trying to walk the path of righteousness. So if we're wise, if we have the understanding that God intends for us to have, if we're walking in wisdom, then God will help us avoid women or men, as the case may be, who don't know God, who have another God aside from God embedded in their minds. And we can avoid those people by walking in wisdom. Matter of fact, we may engage those people, we may see those people, but we're going to walk in the righteous path. We're going to walk as wisdom walks, and that's headed in the other direction from whatever direction she or he going. And that's basically Proverbs 2 in a nutshell. I'm going to read the last 2 verses for you, and I'm going to get up out of here. It says, for the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. In other words, when the Lord returns, we're going to be here. Those of us who are in Christ, those of us who honor God, those of us who understand the fear of God and walk in wisdom, we're going to be here. The earth may pass away, but we'll still be here with God. We'll still be here with Jesus. And lastly, but the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and transgressors shall be rooted out of it. So transgressors are people who just violate God's law with a malicious intent. They just going about it, doing about it, they be about it because they about that life. And we just got to be more inclined to not become subservient to our sin nature and more submitting to God's will through wisdom and understanding. So again, if you don't have a Bible, leave a comment in the section. We'll try to get one out to you. If you have a question or comment, please leave it in the section below. Don't forget to like or subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you get alerted whenever these posts are made. They'll be made once a day for the month of October. And I'm just going to encourage you to seek God, to find the path of righteousness, and I encourage you to go in God's grace and walk as wisdom walks.